Hello and welcome to GreenFleet Talks. My name is Kate Armitage. I'm hosting the discussion today and I'm delighted to be joined by a GreenFleet Talks regular, Ali Argol, who is Business Development and Client Retention Director at Tusker. Ali, lovely to see you again.
Lovely to see you too, Kate.
There's never a dull moment when I talk to you, Ali, because the world of EVs moves so quickly that there's always something for us to be talking about.
Absolutely.
And today's no different. So I'm going to dive straight in. I think for the whole of 2024 and even earlier, everyone was waiting with bated breath for 2025 because that was heralding the arrival of many more EVs into the UK. So can I ask kind of what impact has that had on you and your salary sacrifice scheme? And are you seeing, the drivers choosing different vehicles?
Yeah, I think it has been very exciting 2025, if I'm honest, because it did feel, you're absolutely right, like last year we had all these sort of coming soon, and they never really do come quite soon enough in terms of managing expectations. But we've definitely seen some really exciting changes around the ordering behaviour with our salary sacrifice customers and drivers. And seeing quite a lot of movement in sort of the 24-25 most ordered vehicles. And that's been really exciting to see new entrants into the market and a lot more around affordability as well as choice. So been great to see Build Your Dreams, BYD, really making a footprint across our customer base. The BYD Seal is our second most ordered vehicle in 2025. And when you think that they were very new entrants into the market, from a consumer perspective, clearly they're a very tenured brand in themselves. I think you've really seen some movers and shakers. So that has been exciting. We've seen the Amodo 5 come in as a really popular take, along with what I would call not making quite the same speed of progress, but definitely having an appetite across Xpeng and the GWM Aura as well. So yeah, definitely early stages. I mean, data's only up till end of April, but really exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, and I'm assuming, or I'm possibly generalizing, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that these vehicles that you're talking about basically have an improved price point. They're lower cost.
Absolutely.
Which presumably means that for your salary sacrifice customers, it means a greater range for them, whereas previously they maybe didn't have much to choose from.
Absolutely. And I think, some of our schemes have had to go where they've had lower paid earners, have had to rely on really still fossil fuel city cars, which albeit don't enjoy fully the mechanism of salary sacrifice, still offer a really inclusive opportunity to drive a brand new car with fixed monthly amounts, everything included. So kind of really good financial planning from no anomalies coming down sort of down the side. And what's been great is starting to see some of those lower cost entrants coming in, and a lot more to come, I might add. But, something like the Dacia Spring, it is an entry level vehicle. It probably is our first proper city car, and there is a place for it. I think the exciting thing here is even across the beginning of this year, we've seen the average P11D value of vehicles being ordered decreasing. And that is only going to continue because it is all about inclusivity, isn't it? And I think there is a sort of a common misconception out there that salary sacrifice schemes are only really for the higher rate taxpayers. And that really isn't the case. I mean, and this will only continue to grow. But Yesterday, I was at a review with one of our large public sector frameworks. And, quite transparently, the data proves that more 20% taxpayers come into those schemes than 40. And that's what we want to continue to support.
Yeah. And you alluded to it earlier, Ali, but, those people who are on that lower pay grade, they're the ones who need the assurance that vehicle is going to be, the expense is capped and they've got a reliable vehicle. They're not going to be suddenly landed with a massive bill from the garage or have to go out and source another new vehicle at very short notice. So
absolutely,
it's really positive.
It really is. And, lots more coming into the market in that sort of city car kind of style. We've got the Renault 5, which of course is now available. You've got the BYD Seagull that may, no promises where these land in terms of timing, but they come in. The Cupra Raval, you've got Nissan Micra. So, this kind of long-term extensive range, from the city car all the way up through to some of the lovely supercar types. It's a real thing now, and that's just fabulous for people's inclusivity, but also managing that transition. That you're not talking about a grade 4 nurse having to get into a fossil fuel. They can actually now affordably get into an electric vehicle and enjoy all the actual, in life costs savings that are available there as well.
Yeah, great. And I mean, part of me, from a sort of an industry perspective, the Chinese are coming, has had a bit of a negative connotation. It's in some respects it's not great for the European car industry, but you have to flip that on its head and say, actually, you've got more work to do, European OEMs, to keep up with these price points, to bring more affordable vehicles to market. And we are seeing that. And it just, when we think about the ZEV mandate, Ali, we're never going to get there if you've only got premium cars. It needs to be in every segment as quickly as possible.
Exactly. And, I think, sort of some of the more European manufacturers, they are coming, as in, Ford's range of vehicles that they're bringing out on an EV front are, sort of it's extensive, maybe still not that sort of entry level, but again, more choice around that sort of, I'd say mid range as opposed to all the way through. Got Mercedes bringing their electric CLA out, and wow, what a beautiful car that is. So, it's great to see that it is quite a wide range.
Yeah, great. And of course, as this whole market and industry matures, we're seeing more vehicles coming onto the second-hand market, which again is another positive price point from an affordability point of view. And it's something that you're addressing as well.
Yeah, very much so. So we started a rollout on our pre-loved offering back in September, and it was really key to us to provide a sort of a choice. Not everybody wants a brand new car. If you think about day to day, how, most people will go around getting a new car. They're not necessarily by any means always new. But we need to feed that secondhand car market, and we need to give people the confidence that, when you come and you choose a secondhand car, it is a bit nervous, isn't it? You don't know where it's been. You don't know kind of how, sort of really what you're buying. So I think this mechanism for people to come in and have the choice between, sort of a stock vehicle, building their own car to the very spare, or having a pre-loved, means that actually if they're in that pre-loved view, they can do that with confidence. They still obtain all, you won't be able to drive a secondhand car sort of less expensively in terms of that, all the benefits of that fixed package, all your motoring costs under the salary sacrifice mechanism. It just means that people have got choice. won't necessarily be a cheap car, because, we know what's happening out in the market in terms of residuals, but it often means that people can get a better car, that they actually would have had a second-hand car, but the second-hand car is a better spec, and then they've got all the comfort that they, there's a lot of noise out there around sort of performance and longevity and the rest of it. This really is a way to give people that confidence to transition, that with the handhold and the safety guards all behind, that they've got the best range of support that they could possibly want in terms of us hand-holding any potential issues that happen.
I totally get it. I totally get it. And it may be that you that second-hand market, is like you say, that just gives you that confidence. That I don't need to worry about the warranty. It's still going to be, under maintenance and all of those great things. And I kind of think, well, for the first pre-loved vehicle, or the second or the third, that's a great option. And then it will give people the confidence to say, well, my last car was 4 years old and I had it for 3 years and it ran fine. So it is just building confidence in the whole market, but using salary sacrifice as a means to do it.
It is indeed, definitely, that confidence.
Yeah, great. These cheaper cars, are they cheaper? What are the compromises here? Is it is it you only get 2 seats, not 4? You've got to, I hope you'll make it back from the supermarket with enough charge. What's the
I think the thing is, it is, this is all about choice, and actually about managing and suiting people's needs. Some people really just want a little city car and they don't mind the range, they'll choose. And I think helping people have that visibility of choice, it does vary, Kate. There are cars out there that have less spec and less range on than some of the more mainstream or larger, more premium vehicles. But you want that transparency, that people, when they're coming in and choosing, they can see what they're going to get, and then having the choice to choose to suit their own personal needs. I would add to that without a doubt, the spec and range is only, it does vary, but where the majority, I would say, you're not compromising. In fact, I think a lot of people are normally very surprised how technology has moved, especially if they're coming out of a traditional fossil fuel vehicle, and then they sort of come in and the range, they've got iPlayer on there. It's all very techy, but this is back down to having visibility and making it easy for people to make good choices. They can see the spec, they can see the range, they can see what they're getting in terms of in-car entertainment and so on, so that they can really make an informed choice. Right. And then range, going back to the Mercedes CLA, that has got a staggering 494-mile range on it. So, it's just do your homework, I would say.
Yeah. And actually, I've got more range in my car than I need. That's that whole. I went from a lower range car to more range, and it is lovely, but I hardly ever use it. Is it worth paying for? I'm not sure.
And that's what I mean. Is that there's just that presumption that you're always going to, sort of, what if I do those summer journeys or the Christmas trip or whatever? And the reality is, it really is looking at what you do day to day, and what does a normal week, a normal month look like, to kind of give you that what do you really need and what's going to work for you.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I suppose lastly from me, if you've got a fleet manager or fleet decision makers, and they have, at the moment, they have quite a narrow EV choice list, and they're worried about expanding that because of fears of quality, what would you say to them?
Oh, it's a good question, because confidence is everything. We know how noisy those company car drivers can be. when things don't work. But I think there is a misperception out in the marketplace that this is a massive problem, because if I try and put some Tusker perspective on it for you, so we've got a fleet of 65,000 salary sacrifice vehicles out on the road currently, of which 79% of those, so 3/4 of those are pure EV, and our off the road cases at the moment are less than 0.2% of that proportion of vehicles out. Now, look, we worked very hard over the years to make sure that we've got good relationships, got good processes, that we identify issues very early. We have our tech team, we have our relationship managers, we have our case handlers. That really is, we're talking less than 150 vehicles out off the road. So it is building those, having those relationships where we can call and make it. And of course, it's inconvenient if your car's off the road, but proportionally, our customer satisfaction scores grew by 0.3%. NPS has grown, Trustpilot's grown. So I just think, we still hear about the odd sensational headline, and it is trying to get some of that good news, real stats out there. What does it really look like? Is there going to be a lot of noise? But also having that peace of mind, you've got someone, sort of behind you, actually making sure that can be resolved as easily as possible.
Yeah, so it really is a question of just do your homework, isn't it, and make sure that you're partnering with the right people who, like you say, have got those networks in place and who have got those mechanisms in place to catch it. Yeah,
make it as easy as possible. But I think overall, honestly, it is looking very positive. I think I think 25, 26 will be a landscape, sort of really preparing people for a really fantastic choice.
Onwards and upwards, Ali. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I always learn something, which is great. And thank you.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you, of course, to Tusker for joining GreenFleet Talks.
Absolute pleasure too.
Thank you. And that is about all. Yeah, that is about all we've got time for. Thank you for watching, and please tune in to GF Television again soon.